To Chippenham Town Council's Grants Subcommittee meeting. Please may I remind everyone that this is a public meeting and is being streamed to YouTube and will be available there in the public domain for a period of 6 months. Can I remind all councillors to use their microphones when speaking and to raise their hand clearly and keep it raised when voting. Please ensure you're respectful of others in attendance at this meeting. We have received no public questions in advance of the meeting. Can officers please confirm if there are any other members of the public present who wish to indicate they wish to speak?
There are none, Chair.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the start of the meeting. Item 1 on the agenda is the election of chair, and this is to elect the chair of the Grants Subcommittee for the principal year 26-27. Could I ask, please, for nominations for chair? Councillor Findlay.
I nominate Councillor McIntosh.
Thank you. Do I have that seconded? I see Councillor Wakeman. Thank you. Are there any other nominations for chair? I see none. So can we have a vote, please? All those in favour? Thank you very much. That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. And on that, I will abdicate the chair to the new chair. Congratulations, Finn.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We're now going to item number 2, which is the election of the Vice Chair of the Grant Subcommittee. Could I ask for any nominations for Vice Chair? Councillor Findlay.
I nominate Councillor Owen.
Thank you. And a seconder? I will second that. Or Councillor Wakeman. And can we all have a vote, please? That's passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, item 3, apologies for absence. Can officers confirm if we have received any apologies for absence?
Yes, Chair, we've received apologies from Councillor Desna Allen due to being unwell.
Thank you. And item 4, notification of substitution. Can officers confirm if we have received any substitutions?
Yes, we have Councillor Matthew Bragg substituting for Councillor Desna Allen.
Thank you. So going to item 5, declaration of interest. All members of the Town Council are reminded to declare any pecuniary or non-pecuniary interests they may have in any business of the Council, its committees or subcommittees, in accordance with the latest approved Code of Conduct. Members are reminded to declare any dispensation granted in relation to any relevant matter. Are there any declarations of interest? Councillor Wakeman.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to declare that I am a trustee of Waste Not Want Not. So for their grant application, I will not be taking part in the discussion or voting.
Okay. And Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Chair. I will not, non-pecuniary interest. My wife is a volunteer at Beyond Dementia, so I'll not take part in the discussion or the vote on that item. And a close personal friend is a trustee of the Canal Trust. So again, I'll not take part in that item or vote on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Bragg.
Well, thank you, Chair. I'm a lapsed member of the Chippenham Film Club, so I won't vote on that one.
Okay, thank you. You have all that? Okay, so going to item 6, minutes item 6, to approve as a correct record and to sign the draft minutes of Thursday, the 5th of March, and the extraordinary meeting held on Tuesday, the 17th of March, 2026. Copies are attached. Minutes require a proposer and a seconder. So before we vote, are there any comments to be made in relation to the accuracy of the minutes? No. So do we have a proposer? Councillor Finlay. And a seconder? Councillor Owen. And let's put that to the vote. Have everyone approve? And do we have any abstentions? Oh, did you vote? Oh, sorry. Right, sorry, I was just checking. Your hand went down so quickly. It was obviously the heat. Item 7 of the agenda, Chair's announcements. I would like to thank all applicants for attending today's meeting and for taking the time to respond to councillors' questions. As part of a new process, some applicants were provided with questions in advance, and these will be addressed when they are invited to speak. I would ask everyone to be mindful that the community grants budget is currently oversubscribed. Unfortunately, this means that not all applications will be able to receive funding. Okay. So going on to item 8, the Working Party notes. To receive the notes from the Grants Working Party meeting held on the 8th of June 2026, which has been previously circulated. Do I need to vote for it? Do you need to vote? Okay. So we don't need to vote on that. It was just actually for you to note that report. So we're going on to item 9 and looking at the request for climate and ecological donations, to receive a report from the Democratic and Governance Officer to consider requests for climate and ecological grants, copy attached. This report includes the recommendations to the Grants Subcommittee from the Grants Working Party. Thank you.
Thank you. So the purpose of this report is to outline the grants requests made to the Climate and Ecological Grants Scheme for the Councillors' consideration. The annual Climate and Ecological Grants budget is £18,000 to be split across the 3 meetings of the year. A total of £6,000 is available to be allocated at this meeting. For this scheme, the Council received 2 applications, which can be found at Appendix C and D of this report. The total requested grants come to £3,500. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So for the recommendations, 1, for councillors to consider the requests for this grant that have been received. And item 2, for councillors to consult the application forms, summary table, and applicants themselves, where applicable, to inform grant giving decisions. We will hear now from each of the applicants. Each applicant will be invited to introduce themselves and to answer clarifying questions from councillors. So could I please invite Lisa Gibbons and Matty from the Early Earth Protectors and Pride in Chippenham. Thank you very much.
I'm Lisa, this is Matty, and we've also got 2 people from Pride in Chippenham here too. And,
sorry, can you get,
sorry.
get a little bit closer?
Yeah, we've also,
or bring it down so that we can actually
you're
hear
gonna
you. That'd be fantastic.
Down, so I'll just hold it.
Yeah.
I'm Lisa, this is Matty, and we've also got 2 people from Pride in Chippenham here too. Matty's just written something about this request.
We think that the money we are asking for will be well used as a chance to connect local people to local nature and how that links to inclusivity and diversity. The nature guide Connor will also talk about how to protect local nature, so this is a great opportunity to engage more people in nature protection. This will also hopefully help with tackling some of the hate crime against LGBTQIA+ people through learning about how diverse our natural world is.
Did you want to add anything?
Have you seen the form? Would you like us to explain a little bit about what it would be for, or
No. We've actually all looked through the form.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that. We actually have some questions. Yeah, that's it.
Matty just wanted to say a little bit about Connor too, just so you understand a bit about who we'd be paying to come and do the talk.
His Connor's qualifications, he's an entomologist and educator. He's a former head of learning at London's oldest botanical garden, and he's an ecologist and a nature guide.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just want to clarify the public liability insurance. Are you able to sort of give us some more information about that?
Yeah, Early Earth Protectors has public liability insurance for doing stuff at our land, but also in the community. We can send that to you. We also have a safeguarding policy, which we can send. And Pride have liability insurance too, I believe. Yeah.
That's great. Are there any other questions that councillors have? I'd like to add. Councillor Owen.
Thank you very much indeed for your application. Do you have any idea how many people you'd expect to attend the event? Thank you.
We don't know exactly, and yeah, we would advertise it widely, and so would Pride. We'd work together on advertising it to people in the community. We're not sure. I think he tends to do them with around 30 people, but it would be nice if it could be a bit more than that. And then we were thinking in the event after for the debriefing, part of that would be thinking about all of the learning and everything we learned about nature and inclusivity, and then getting that out there as a message to people in the community too. But hopefully a minimum of 30.
Thank you. Were there any other further questions? Councillor Townsend.
Thank you. Generally speaking, these sort of grants, we don't fund staffing. Could you give us a justification why we should make an exception on this?
For Connor, for the ecologist. Yeah, well, he's an expert in his field. He lives in London and he does a lot of major events. He does a tour. He's gone to Slimbridge. He does a lot of wetland centres. With his queer ecology tour. So I think we're more seeing it as buying in an expert for the benefit of the community. The event after and the walk would also be staffed by people from Early Earth Protectors and Pride in Chippenham. So the only cost would be him. Is that perfect?
You happy with that? Yeah.
Thank you for that response.
Thank you.
I think we have no further questions at this time. So thank you very much for your presentation and for coming along today. I am now going to invite Annalisa Sola from Waste Not, Want Not, just to come to the podium. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Annalisa Sola. I'm the charity manager at Waste Not, Want Not. The application that we have submitted is for our Fresh Start programme. Fresh Start supports people recovering from trauma and crisis, such as survivors of domestic abuse, previously homeless, and refugees and asylum seekers. Fresh Start clients are referred to us by housing associations, charities that work with these identified groups, and Chippenham Town Council and Wiltshire County Council. Last year, we secured £67,000 and supported 104 Fresh Start clients. Our financial year runs from November to October, and this year so far we have supported 92 adults and 61 children. So the requests for Fresh Start support has just exploded as a result of the cost of living crisis and lately the Iran war. The £3,000 will support us to purchase refurbished white goods from a company that specialises in refurbishing white goods and stops them going into landfill.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There were no questions submitted from the councillors from earlier from the working party. So are there any questions that councillors have? No. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we will now proceed to discussion. Councillors will deliberate on which applications they wish to support and to what extent. This will be purely discussion until councillors have voted. Before voting and at any point during discussion, officers will provide a summary of the grants distribution for clarity. So could I start by asking, can I please hear from councillors if there are any applications that they do not wish to support? No. Good. So can I please hear from councillors if there are any applications that they wish to prioritise and support in full? Councillor Bragg.
Chair, could I move that we support both applications in full? So that's my proposal.
Do you have a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Cousins. Is there anybody who would like to add to that? Any comments? Okay. Councillor Grimes.
Sorry, just to clarify, for the whole of the financial year, we have £6,000, is that right?
No, we have 18, and then for each.
Great, thank you. Just
Yeah, for
wanted to
each.
confirm that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so it's 6,000 per meeting, or quarter, I should say. Sorry, Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Chair. I heard the presentations. I listened to my learned councillor colleague. My concern about the early earth protectors application is that we're missing some information. There was some lack of financial information provided, so I think my support would be contingent upon that information being provided, the insurance and other matters we discussed prior to the grant being released, if that's possible, if officers can confirm that.
So we can make the offer conditional so that they don't have to provide financial information before we give them the money, but obviously councillors wouldn't be able to see the financial information before making the decisions, so you'd have to make your decision based on that.
Okay. Are you happy with that, Councillor Owen?
I am, Chair, yes. It's not perhaps the visibility for us, but knowing that that information has been provided to officers, that we can be certain that young people are safeguarded by virtue of insurance and so on.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else that anyone would like to add to that? Okay, so could we then go for a vote on this? That Councillor Bragg has proposed that both applications be supported in full. Okay, and we have a proposer, we have a seconder, which is Councillor Finlay, and we can all go to the vote. So all those in favour? For those against? And for those who'd like to abstain? Okay. So I would just like to confirm that we have just voted that the early protectors will receive a grant of £500. And this is just reliant on you just sharing with us your insurance. And we have granted Waste Not Want Not £3,000. Thank you very much for coming along and presenting to us. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you. So moving on to the request for community grants to receive a report from the Democratic and Governance Officer to consider requests for community grants. The copy is attached. This report includes the recommendations to the Grants Subcommittee from the Grants Working Party. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The purpose of this report is to outline the grant requests made to the Community Grant Scheme for Councillors' consideration. The annual community grants budget is £30,000. This is split across the 3 meetings across the municipal year, £10,000 for each meeting. For this meeting, the council received 8 applications, which can be found at Appendix C through J of this report. The total requested grants now stand at £16,435. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The recommendations is 1, for councillors to consider the requests for community grants that have been received. And number 2, for councillors to consult the application forms, summary table and applicants themselves, where applicable, to inform grant giving decisions. We will hear from each of the applicants. Each applicant will be invited to introduce themselves and to answer clarifying questions from councillors. Could I please invite Andy Blight from Beyond Dementia?
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Andy. I'm a Chippenham resident and I'm here from Beyond Dementia. We've been providing support for people living with dementia in Wiltshire for over 35 years. What we do is quite simple at heart. We support people living with a dementia to remain in their own home, helping them maintain as much independence, choice and control over their lives as possible. We focus on the person, not just the condition. That means creating services that are meaningful, engaging and tailored to each individual. We offer a range of support, including our day clubs, where people can socialise, take part in activities and feel part of the community. Home support, providing one-to-one help for people in their own homes. Community groups such as singing, art and activity sessions where people can express themselves. And lastly, our dementia advisors who offer guidance and practical support to families navigating dementia. I sadly lost my mum to dementia in 2020, so I know exactly just how important support from charities such as Beyond Dementia are to the families and individuals affected by dementia. Everything we do at Beyond Dementia is about creating spaces where people can truly be themselves, where dignity is preserved, choices are respected, and time together is creative, productive, and meaningful. Each year, we support over 2,500 families throughout Wiltshire. However, to continue delivering these vital services, we need to raise £350,000 to cover the gap in our funding. Every donation we receive goes directly towards supporting local people. It stays within the community and helps us continue providing the services that matter most. So as you know, we've asked, if possible, for a grant of £1,760. That's going to be for our Music for the Mind group, which is a community group based at the Sheldon Road Methodist Church. They meet every other Thursday, 10:30 till 12. It's a 90-minute session. We normally get between 20 and 24 people per session, many of those who have dementia and some of the carers as well. The first 30 minutes is spent on refreshments and socialising. And then the last hour is where the kind of singing starts, where they sing, well-loved classics, which kind of triggers the memories. But they also have lots of some new songs, some sing rhymes, and also some action songs as well, where they're using their hands and get a chance to perhaps shake some maracas or a tambourine and stuff as well. So the group is a really fun group, lots of laughter, and it's a real crucial part of some people's, every 2 weeks they're meeting. So it's a real a great opportunity for them to socialise. I know you did ask 2 questions. Do you want me to go over those 2 questions now? Yeah. So if we do not receive the full amount, would the group still proceed? Basically, they would still proceed, but we would obviously have to cut the number of planned sessions, as it's currently every 2 weeks. And I said before, it is a real crucial part for the local community to socialise and rediscover, joy in their life. And also it's giving the carer respite as well, valuable respite for some of these carers. Given the financial climate and rising costs, likelihood the group would go from every 2 weeks to a kind of a monthly, or worst, obviously, a quarterly. Which costs could be reduced was your second question. The part of this fund, really, the main cost of this is for our specialist music instructor. This is an external specialist and not a member of staff. These are highly skilled musicians. I went to a group a few weeks ago, and the musician was playing the Irish bouzouki for 30 minutes and doing various songs with that instrument, which is very famous for kind of folk songs. It used to be a Greek instrument, but it's an Irish bouzouki. So it's really kind of like for folky kind of songs. And then the other part of the session, he was playing the violin. It was just, it was so talented. Could it be reduced? Not really, because again, we would have to reduce the sessions. The other large cost we experience in part of the groups is the specialist music facilitator, who is trained to support people with dementia. And he's focused, that person is focused on encouraging and supporting the member, while the freeing up the instructor musician to focus on leading the group. This group is a really crucial group for people in Chippenham every 2 weeks. It's given these people with dementia, helping them growing their confidence, making new friends, and really improving their general well-being. And for the carers, it's given them really valuable respite and helping with kind of stress and anxiety they experience during the time caring. So thank you very much. I'd be really grateful if you could support our application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just wait for a second, just in case somebody else we have any further questions. So do councillors have any questions? Any comments? Councillor Wakeman.
It's a matter of the form. So are you seeking match funding? And you've put no. I believe you are, because you've got 37%.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess the funding must come from somewhere else. It must be matched. So
yeah, the total cost of for example, from September, the bit we applied for was from September through to March of 2027 is going to cost us for that group £4,708. And you're basically the amount we're asking from you guys is the 1,760. So the rest is facilitated by we do ask for £5 from people who come along to the session, or what they can afford, because not everyone can afford the £5. So so we're not asking for the full amount. We're asking for a percentage.
yeah, just clarification that you put no, but actually yes, you are matching the funding, which is great. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other further questions? No. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you
very much. Thank you.
So I'd like to go to our second applicant and then invite Jamie Chivers from the Chippenham CFR Group. Come to the podium. Thank you.
Hello there. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you guys this afternoon. My name is Jamie Chivers. I am a paramedic and also a responder liaison officer for all of the local community first responders, the volunteers that respond in their own time to the local community. Today we're seeking the grant to help purchase a new kit or to replace any old and existing kit that needs to be replaced to allow those CFRs to go out to the community and help those that need it most when they dial 999. It's something well documented at the moment that the ambulance service is struggling. Currently, just alone I checked just prior to the meeting today, there are currently 52 people in Wiltshire alone waiting for an ambulance on a Cat 2 basis alone with no resource to send, and 17 ambulances currently queuing outside hospitals. So CFRs are valuable because they are sent as a first response and can provide basic life support and CPR in that situation should they need to, and have often provided life-saving treatment to the local community of Chippenham. In terms of the questions that you've asked me, if we didn't receive the full amount, it wouldn't prevent us from carrying on. We have a number of kits that are available and accessed. And there are a number of other sort of CFRs based in other sort of local towns that we all sort of mix around and go about. And obviously the charity, the South Western Ambulance Charity does have some money as well, which could provide some additional funds if we needed it. But obviously the more that we can raise ourselves, the more we can support the local community. Statistics wise, so currently at the moment there are about 170 CFR responses every month on average in Chippenham, and of those 20% of those are category 1 calls, which are the most serious calls around. So as a responder liaison officer, I book on myself in my own time because of my skill set. I can respond and provide a higher level of care, and I do respond to an awful lot of category 1 emergencies within Chippenham to support my CFRs and obviously the local community. In terms of the equipment list that we provided with you, obviously in order to provide BLS, a defibrillator and some oxygen and sort of masks and sort of oxygenation equipment is all that's needed really to provide basic CPR, but no first aider or CFR would go out without all of the kits. But as a minimum, the defibrillator, the oxygen, and the NMA, which is the telephone communication device that they are sent to the jobs with, which provides them with all the information, that would be the priority of what we would require from the equipment list.
Thank you. And I think we also asked whether you'd approached the Chippenham Area Board for funding.
Sorry, yes. So I'm actually quite new to this. So we have actually just received a donation of £500 from the local Lions Club. I wasn't aware of the Chippenham Area Board, and I've also just become aware of, I believe it's the Borough Lands Trust, which are also approachable to help support local sort of community activities and things like this. So I have made an initial contact with them to find out what their processes are in order to try and sort of raise money to sort of go from them and go forward with what we need.
Thank you very much. Are there any further questions from councillors? Any comments? No? Oh, Councillor Wakeman.
Thank you for your presentation. If we were to fund one thing off of the list, what would you put at the top of that list?
The defibrillator. It's simply, you know, the in any form of sort of emergency, the earlier the defibrillation starts, the more chance of survival the patient has. So the defibrillator would be the top of the list. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any other further questions? No? Then thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for the time. Thank you.
I now invite Helen Tribble and Lucas Jones from the Chippenham Film Club. Thank you.
Good afternoon, councillors. My name's Helen Trebell. This is Lucas Jones. We are both volunteers representing Chippenham Film Club. Just to give you some background on the club, if you don't know us, we're a non-profit community interest company run completely by volunteers. We host monthly film screenings at our lovely local cinema, which we are blessed to have at the Reel. Our aim is to bring films that people wouldn't normally get to see in Chippenham, so including international, culturally diverse, independent and thought-provoking films, which can often lead to some quite lively discussions in the pub afterwards. Additionally, we host lots of inclusive social activities and have created a community of both members and non-members, all brought together just through the shared love of film. This September, we're hosting a week-long film festival, and we are requesting £1,250 from yourselves to help make it even bigger and better than our last one in 2024. The festival will include 5 screenings at the Reel with linked social events, Q&As with filmmakers, and a collaboration with Doorway, the local homeless charity. We plan to make this a regular fixture in Chippenham's festival calendar, and wherever possible, we support local businesses and independent businesses. So, for example, we're hosting our closing party at the Prince of Wales, which you're all invited to if you'd like to come along. We do our merchandise printing at Bargammons Tavern, and our designs come from a local up-and-coming designer, Lexi Hugo. In answer to your question, if we don't receive the full amount requested, then the festival will go ahead. We will just need to scale back elements such as promotional activities and, for example, the Q&A events, but we would keep the core 5 film screening. We are pursuing funding from other organisations and sponsors, and the Film Club will contribute from its own funds. Thank you for your time and consideration, unless I've forgotten anything, Lucas.
Yeah, just one thing to iterate. So I'm recently moved to Chippenham about 2 years ago. I've been volunteering with the Film Club for about 9 months, I think now. One of the key things for me is the sense of community and the supporting of local businesses that Helen mentioned. And I think obviously the festival's being organised by the same people that the Film Club is run by. So that I think that support for local businesses would be quite far-reaching and would be sort of major positive impact, I guess, on the community in the town. And yeah, these funds would really help with that.
Any questions?
I was going to say, do councillors have any questions? Any comments? Councillor Owen?
Thank you. Forgive me, I'm going to have my back to you to speak into the microphone, so please don't take any offence. We allow grants to meet the cost of specialists, but not for employees. And what's outlined as talent fees to me sits somewhere between the two. Is this something that you could perhaps get sponsorship from another organisation to cover the cost of that item? Whilst not speaking for other councillor colleagues, if we weren't able to award the full grant, could you still get your talent funded another way?
Hopefully, yes. I get your point about it being sort of somewhere in between. What we do find is with the Q&A events, it's called a talent fee. It would be the filmmakers themselves. They do tend to bring in a big crowd, which is why we sort of had to have the wraparound events elevates it slightly. But yes, like I said, we are looking for other sponsors and organisations also.
Thank you. Are there any further questions or comments? No. Well, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for coming along. And moving on, I'm now going to invite Marie Matthews and Jo Coleman from Friends of Redlands School.
Hi, I'm Jo Coleman, and this is my secretary. I'm the chair of the Friends of Redland School, and Marie is the co-secretary. We have been working on a really big project with the school for probably the last 2 years now, which is the Opal project. The aim of that is to bring a lot more doing activities into break time for the children. The aim of it is to help children to still maintain a level of play, and I think in some ways distract them from arguing a lot and help to keep them engaged in learning activities throughout their break time without even realizing they're doing so. It has meant that we, as the Friends of, have already really improved the area, and we have been working on a lot of outside projects with the school to make sure that the outside area is somewhere where the children can be, whatever the weather. This is something that's become more and more important in the school environment. We have one of the teachers at the school, her dad is amazing with woodwork, and he built this beautiful mud kitchen for the children, which is amazing and well played with, but it has become a mud bath. So what we need to do is pop a bit of membrane down and some wood chippings on top, just to make this usable all year round, because we want every area of the outside space to be able to be used throughout, whatever the weather. So for this, we're asking for your grant to be able to provide us with the means to be able to do this. One of the questions was to ask if we proceeded without the labour. We could proceed without the labour, but it would take a longer period of time because we'd have to rely on our one maintenance member of staff to do that, which could take a long period of time, which unfortunately will bring us probably into the autumn and mean that it's going to be already wet, and then the area is probably not going to be in use until the spring, which would be a longer scale of time for the project. And really, it needs urgent attention. So, oh wait, did I get them the wrong way around? I think I did. Sorry, I think that was question
Basically,
two.
one and two
Apologies.
feed into each other.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, wait.
Because if we don't receive the full amount of funding, it basically means we need to get the school maintenance man to do it.
To carry out.
He is not just for Redland, he is for a lot of schools in Chippenham. So obviously his time is precious too to other things that go on in school. But yes, the project would still go ahead, but obviously it would be on a longer time scale.
Yes.
Yeah, match funding wise, we haven't sought any match funding for this particular project because there are other projects we're also working on, putting a bike shed into Redmond School. So we are looking at match funding for that. So for this particular project, we haven't gone down that avenue, as I said, because there's other things going on in the pipeline too. We have approached local businesses, but unfortunately, nobody wants to give us anything.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Any further questions from councillors? No. Okay. Well, thank you for
having us.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you. I would now please invite Andrea Jaggard from Lordsmead Preschool Playgroup to come up and introduce yourself. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having us here today. I'm Andrea Jaggard, I'm the manager at Lordsmead Preschool. We currently serve 80 families within Chippenham. We are looking for funding for the wet poor surface in our playground. We've got several children with us, or families, that have got children that can't walk properly, and the safety matting has been down over 7 years now, and it's normally got a life of 5 years. So we've managed to keep it alive for a bit longer than normal, but it does now need replacing because it's becoming a trip hazard in certain areas. And the whole point is for it to be safe for the children to walk on and not fall over. And if they do fall over, that they don't hurt themselves severely. Because we have some children that haven't learnt to walk yet, even though they're 2 years and up that we look after, but they have special needs and we have to sort of cater for everybody. The whole project is going to cost us over £8,000 to do. Your question was if you don't receive the full amount, will it go ahead? It does have to go ahead no matter what, due to the fact the surface is now too damaged and it needs replacing for the safety of all children, current and future children attending our setting. It's been down obviously 7 years, so it's time. You asked about match funding. I wasn't aware of this type of thing, but I did a bit of research afterwards and we will be looking into that as well. You want to know how the remaining funds, because obviously it is £8,000 and we're only asking for 3,000. It's the children have done a sponsored walk. Some of them walked over a mile, and for teeny little people, that's quite a long way. And we've raised £1,000 towards the project from doing that with the children. You've also asked what's the next steps of the project. Could have provided more detail. The project is due to be started on the 27th of July, so in the school holiday, so that it'll be ready for the next cohort of children. The costs are high, but it's an outside company called Sovereign Play Design who do soft matting for all schools and play areas for councils and things like that. So they are a known company. They were the cheaper of two quotes that we got, and they were significantly cheaper. It was amazing. So we're looking to do it on 27th July. The cost covers the removal of the old surface and then relaying all the new surface for us. Yeah, that was all the questions you'd asked. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any further questions from councillors? I mean, I have one for myself. I just wanted to clarify, because you're starting sort of in about 6 weeks' time, but you're still looking for a great deal of funding. So
I think the problem we've got is we started this in March time and with the aim, but unfortunately all the meetings for funding are all now. So we've had to sort of go, okay, we're going to have to do it. So that the money, if we don't get the funding, anything, so obviously the bit extra we would have to pay anyway out of our reserves, which basically impacts what we can pay to buy equipment for the children in the future. It'll take us time to build back the store because we're all get ready. If we got this amount of 3,000, we've raised 1,000 with the children. We're still short 4,000, which will have to come from our funds, and therefore things the children want in future we'll have to wait a bit longer for. So like all the normal equipment of replacing bikes and all the toys they want. We did try Chippenham Borough Lands. They said, no, it's a safety issue. We're not willing to fund it. So we've had to go, okay. They did help us last time, 7 years ago, but now they've decided we don't meet their criteria.
thank you. And Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much indeed for your presentation. If you were to fund the £4,000 from your reserves, what impact would that have on your reserves from a financial standpoint? How big a proportion of your reserves does that represent? Thank you, Chair.
Let's think about this. 4,000. It would cover. It's a substantial amount of the reserves because obviously there's a different reserves for staff funding. If things happen and the preschool had to close, we have to cover rent and things like that. This out of the equipment, it'll be over a quarter of the reserve funding that we've got that would help replace things like we need a new climbing frame because the old one has reached its life cycle as well. So it's just unfortunate. Everything was done 7 years ago and it's all starting to fall apart. So yeah, it's about a quarter of our reserve funding would be taken away. So therefore things like all the new bikes, because again, children don't exactly treat things lovely these days. They just tend to sort of abandon it. You tell them it's snack time and it's thrown to the floor. So over time, with all the children using it, it does get worn down quite quickly. And we end up having to just do a new, September is the time we go, okay, let's do this. We got to get all the new equipment that the children need, throw away the broken things, because through the year, every time something breaks, it's like, okay, put that aside, add that to the list of things we want to buy. So this would just help us have the money to buy all the toys that the children need.
Thank you. Councillor Weightman.
This may be a difficult question. You mentioned 7 years since it was installed. Am I right in saying that this would then mean that this would last 7 years long again?
I
Or
do hope so, if not longer. It's supposed to be because it's being totally redone, I would expect it to last at least 7 years. They normally last 5, but we found they last longer. The main issue was when they did the last lot, they laid it over the top. And so when it's shrunk, because they do naturally shrink a bit, it's created quite a large ridge in the flooring in one area and dips in others.
But we're talking approximately £1,000 a year worth of sort of depreciation on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? No, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd now like to invite Chris Hyman from St Andrew's Church to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Hickman from St Andrew's Church, and I'm accompanied by our vicar, Benji Tyler. We're seeking financial assistance for our project to restore the 1750s heritage organ that we have into a reliable and working condition. Last month, we ended up having 2 Sundays where we had to use the piano because it wasn't in any condition to play. And we've had organ builders in the meantime, so that it should be ready again, I hope, for the civic service next month. This is partly heritage, it's partly community, because this is something that is supporting community and civic events. It's also helping the recently started St Andrew's Young Voices, which is a children's choir for children of 6 and older, who took part recently in the RSCM Music Sunday. We're also developing a program for public organ concerts starting next year. On a historical note, when the church was expanded and the organ moved and enlarged to its present state in the 1880s, the decision to do so took place in this hall in a public meeting chaired by the mayor. And what we are looking for is that Chippenham Town Council continues to identify with and support this part of Chippenham's heritage so that it can continue contributing to civic and community life. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
And do councillors have any questions? No, I think your application was.
Okay, thank you very much.
Had everything, and thank you very much for your presentation. So I'd now like to invite Brian Wright from the Wiltshire and Berkshire Canal Trust to come and introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Putting it very simply, this application is to effectively waive the whole hire charge for a forthcoming quiz downstairs in the Nield. Which brings me to a confession. The amount I'm asking for, I think, as Beth has probably noticed, includes the AT. Being the diligent person she is, clever and diligent, I'm sure she's noticed. So if you want to adjust the amount I'm asking for to take off VAT, please do so. Otherwise, leave as it stands. My error. We're asking for the quiz of this grant to reduce the pressure on the organisers. The cost of hire is the main cost. We have to book the hall about 2 years or more in advance. So trying to predict what might clash on that date that far in advance it's not possible. So we have to make a guess. So we're always worried, will the event be a success or not? So by waiving the whole hire charge, takes the weight off our shoulders, reduces our stress, and in turn, the event's better. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from councillors? Councillor Wakeman.
I can always go with one. How much do you expect to raise from this quiz?
How much do you expect to raise?
Yes.
If it works, we get about 30 teams or so, £20 per team, plus tea, coffee, and donations. So it is, when it works, successful. When it works.
Okay.
As I say, will the teams turn up? Several teams don't turn up. They make bookings and we're left with empty seats. So the whole thing is a risk.
Okay.
So it is a strain. So 30, to answer your question, 30 times 20 is what, 600, isn't it?
Plus extra.
Plus another 100 or so for tea and coffee. Certainly 50 for tea and coffee.
Okay.
If all goes well.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? No. Okay, well, thank you very much for your presentation and thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'll close with, please come and see us out at the canal sometime, and including you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And finally, I'd just like to invite Natalie Levin from the Youth Adventure Trust to come and introduce herself. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me. My name's Natalie and I'm from the Youth Adventure Trust, and we inspire young lives through outdoor adventure. We believe that every young person should have the chance to get outdoors, to challenge themselves, and to go beyond what they think they are, beyond what they thought possible. The activities that we and camps that we take our young people to are, of course, great fun. Young people wouldn't go if they weren't. But for us, it's the time outdoors that enables them to build their mental toughness, develop their confidence, boosts physical and emotional well-being. Many of the young people that we work with would never have those opportunities without us. We know that young people, 98% of our families are impacted by the cost of living crisis, and half of the young people on our programmes do not do anything else during their school holidays if it wasn't for the Youth Adventure programme. So we are requesting a grant of £2,000 to fund 8 young people from Chippenham to attend their forest camp this summer. This is their 3rd and final camp of our 3-year outdoor adventure programme. So this is where we're really going to be challenging them, taking them on lots of different activities. Some might be familiar to them, but really stretching them, getting them to step out of their comfort zone and really put into place all of the skills, the life skills that they've developed over the previous 2 years, and consolidate them in their camp. What we're trying to achieve for our young people is really summed up beautifully by a postcard to their future self. So we've actually just said goodbye to young people who joined us 2.5 years ago. And part of that celebration is a postcard to their future self. And I'd like to share one with you. Keep being yourself. You are capable of more than you think, and you need to push yourself more, because you are capable. You've grown so much with your confidence, and you should be so proud of yourself. You've achieved so much with the Youth Adventure Trust, and you should keep trying new things. That postcard will be sent to that young person in about 6 or 9 months' time, just to really remind them of all that they've achieved over the years. And with your support, we can do that for the next cohort of young people from Chippenham. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. And I think we had one question for you about whether, if you couldn't have the full amount that you've applied for, could you still run the project?
Yes, we're not going to be leaving any young person from Chippenham behind. They will still be going away to camp. We will just be sourcing funding, the remainder of the funding from other sources to make sure that they still complete the programme as planned.
Thank you. And do councillors have any further questions? Councillor Wakeman.
Always is. Thank you for your presentation. How long is a forest camp?
It's 6 days.
6 days. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? No. Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Okay, so we will now proceed to discussion. Councillors will deliberate on which applications they wish to support and to what extent. As the budget is oversubscribed, the proposal to deal with this is for councillors to debate all applications and then vote once the distribution of the grants is finalised. To reiterate, this will purely be discussion until councillors have voted. Before voting and at any point during discussion, officers will provide a summary of the grants distribution for clarity. Okay. So, could I please, Councillor Grimes?
Sorry, I just have a question about the total. Because somewhere I saw that the Chippenham CFR group was not 3,000, it was 3,997. That was on.
So the application was for 3,000.
3,000.
The total of everything they wanted was over that, but it's for councillors to decide which of these items that they would like to support, up to 3,000, which is the maximum we can.
And then we can change it slightly to take the VAT off the 405. I'm just. You're aware of that.
My suggestion for that one is we keep it as it is and any unused funds are returned and put back in.
Okay.
Okay, so can I hear from councillors if there are any applications that they do not wish to support? This is going to be interesting for us. Okay, could I please hear from councillors if there are any applications that they wish to prioritise and support in full? Councillor Wakeman.
I think on this list there's a fair few, but the Wilson Barks Canal, especially Seamings, it's waiving a hall fee. For me, feels, and the fact that it's fundraising and it should generate funds directly coming into that charity, I would recommend we just say yes to that one.
Councillor Townsend.
There are a couple that I'd like to support in full. That's St Andrews and the CFR application.
Andrews. So I'm just writing this down. Sorry, Councillor Massey.
I would like to support the full amount for Beyond Dementia. I think it's very important. Very good presentation. Thank you.
Councillor Grimes.
I would agree with Councillor Townsend about not necessarily providing the grant in full, but supporting St Andrews, the Chippenham CFR group, and also potentially Redlands School on the basis that they have not made applications in the last 4 years.
Councillor Wakeman.
So I'd say just in general, so looking at the Redlands School one, for example, I find it very difficult with the £1,000 labour in there, and it's a very round number coming from, and then to be honest, the feedback given that the project couldn't proceed properly if we don't fund the labour on that project, I'm finding that one quite difficult to fund, would be my view on that one. Actually, if removing the labour aspect of that then pushes the viability of that project out, that then feels like it's not a viable project, unfortunately.
Thank you, Chair. So firstly, supporting somebody in full, I feel Chippenham Film Club offer a tremendous amount for the community, and that's seriously worth considering in that for that reason. And regards Lord, no, Friends of Redland School, far be it for us to suggest how they might go ahead and actually do a project rather than contributing to the labour costs has been discussed. We could just organise a sort of a barbecue and get mums and dads up for an afternoon and pitch in and do that sort of thing to get it going. In my experience, that's a good community event as well. So.
Councillor Wakeman.
I mean, based on that, yes, if Redland School were prepared to find a way of finding another way of making that project happen, then I think providing the materials to allow for that project to happen, that would be preferable to me. But it does come back round to that. There needs to be a creative way to cover that extra £1,000, and that still remains with a question for me. Because I'd love to support it, but if the answer is if we don't get the labour funded, then the project's not viable, then that project for me becomes not viable. That's where I come through on that one. I'd love it to happen, don't get me wrong, but it's just we do have to prioritise where the various bits go. I'd also say that should we continue with that one, or do you want me to jump around onto some of the other ones? So one of the other areas I'd say with the CFR funding, identifying that the AED is the main piece of equipment on there and that funding would come in for the other things. If we are trimming back, I'd say fund that one and then see whether we can fund some of the other items, but maybe not, considering we're very oversubscribed going in full there. It depends on where we get to on the general funding map there for me.
Councillor Cousins, did you want to come?
I don't think it's relevant now. Thank you.
Councillor Owen.
Forgive me. Thank you, Chair. There are a number of very, very worthy causes here, and I think life would be much easier for us all if we were able to support everyone in full, but we're not. And I am recused on talking about two. I just wonder if Friends of Redland School could, if they're still here, be in a position to comment whether they have gone, I think. My concern about funding them without the labour and not knowing whether or not that becomes a viable project means potentially the £1,000 that we might have given them can't go to anybody else today. It will come back in the budget for the next meeting, but that means other worthy applicants today potentially miss out. So I am also challenged by that whole application. As much as I would love to give it some support, without them here, the potential for missing out the £1,000, excluding the labour, to one of our other applicants today gives me concern.
Thank you. Is there any Councillor Cousins?
Yeah, I'll come back on their behalf very briefly because I did speak on the stairs. They gave their apologies. They had to go because there was another event at school they had to get back to. So that's the reason they're not able to speak.
Thank you for I just want to let you know this is just for a discussion for councillors. I'm afraid I can't invite you to say anything further. Sorry.
Just on the Redland School, I believe when they gave their presentation, they did say that the project would go ahead with the use of the maintenance person at the school. and the project would be delayed and would still go ahead at a later point. It wouldn't be, yeah.
Councillor Bragg.
Yeah, thank you to fellow councillors for the conversations we've had so far. I'm minded to agree with a couple of my councillors on the Redland School one and just pay for the materials. So that'll be my proposal, which I think we've got on the board already at 1,020 or 4,000, yeah, up there. In terms of the community first responders, I agree with Councillor Wakeman. If we could just fund the new AD3s, that would be about £1,500. They did mention they haven't heard of all sort funding from Borough Lands. There's also Area Board. There's a bunch of other ones out there, so they might easily make up that shortfall. It might help alleviate some of the cost pressures on the rest of the things. So that'll be my take on that one. Just that to councillors.
Councillor Townsend, sorry.
We haven't mentioned the Youth Trust yet, and I'd be minded to support them significantly. I'm quite happy that we would, for the CFR, we would support the AED. So concurring with that one. I'd also potentially cut out the labour costs for Redlands, so would agree with that one. And I would suggest that the film club, we just pay for the venue and not the full amount.
Councillor Wakeman.
I agree with Councillor Townsend. I was literally coming back with that one, that with the film club, as much as I agree, it's something we should definitely be supporting. Absolutely. I would say that the venue hire directly comes back into Chippenham, which is a good thing for us. And it does sound like there are other options for some of that other funding and an adjustment. I think considering the oversubscription and giving us the opportunity to, I don't think we disable that activity by reducing it to just the venue hire. And thus we're enabling lots of these activities, which maximises our impact.
Thank you. Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Chair. I think the Youth Adventure Trust application is a compelling one. It's wonderful that these young people get help and support. However, they have received support each year for the last 4 years, and their 2024 accounts show £250,000 of reserves. Now, that is for 2024. Charities need reserves. I do understand that. You can't just keep spending your capital base. It will run out eventually. But I do wonder whether we just should be mindful of those two facts in deciding how we support them. Thank you.
Has anyone got any comments about Lordsmead? Councillor Wakeman.
I think my main difficulty here is the total cost, and then the scheme itself, the fact that it's going to potentially last that maybe 7 at a stretch 10 years. Are we going to be back here again with another £7,000 plus inflation requirement for that? I just wonder whether the actual scheme itself might be challenging here, especially when we're comparing against some of the other activities where we'll be putting the money.
Does Councillor Cousins?
Yeah, again, I'm not sort of speaking on behalf of anybody, but having been in school scenarios and knowing that safety surfaces are vitally important and wet pour is a particularly good and yet expensive surface. It's not to say that we don't think it's a necessary and a good thing. It's whether we feel that it's appropriate for us to support it at this point, I think, and that's That's the difficult thing for me sitting here. I can fully understand the need for it and why we've got it, but it's whether we feel as a council it's appropriate for us at this time.
Yeah, I agree. It's a facility that is needed. It's a facility that should be funded, but whether it's a facility that we should be funding is unfortunately the question that comes in here, especially when we're comparing to some of the other places that ultimately we have to not fund something here.
Does Councillor Bragg?
So, how about 1,000 on Beyond Dementia and 1,000 on the Adventure Trust? So that will give us more money for the pot, and that gives us 1,000 for Lord's Mead Playgroup. With all other things beginning as they are. That's a suggestion.
Is that what you were asking for? Yeah. Has anyone got any other comments or questions?
Just gonna say I'd be happy to propose that as a split. I think for me that looks equitable and maximizes the good that we do with the money that's available.
Mm. So is everyone so we're doing this. Councillor Finlay, sorry.
I was just going to say that I agree. Everybody gets something, which is important.
Okay, fantastic. So we're doing this slightly differently. We've missed out on several questions I was going to ask you, so we've just gone straight for it. Okay, Councillor Owen.
Sorry, just before we go to a vote, can I just ask for officer's guidance? The two applications that I'm recused from discussing, if we're having one vote for all of them, how does that work? If I am potentially voting for something that I'm recused from voting on. Thank you.
So just to cover that, we could vote on each one individually.
That's exactly what I was going to do. No, it's all right. It's okay. Just jumping the gun there. Okay, so looking at our board behind me, I'm going to start with Beyond Dementia. And we're proposing that we're going to give them a grant of £1,000. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Finlay, seconder, Councillor Townsend, and could I please have a vote? Thank you. And abstentions? Thank you. So that has been passed. Let me just go. So now going to Chippenham CFR Group, we're proposing a grant of £1,429. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Owen, and a seconder, Councillor Massey. And then can I put that to the vote, please? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. And then going to Chippenham Film Club, we're proposing a grant of £1,000. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Finlay, and a seconder, Councillor Wigman. And can I put that to the vote, please? Abstentions? Okay, so Friends of Redlands School. We're proposing a grant of 1,000. Oh, sorry, Councillor Townsend. You're proposing it before I've actually said it. Okay. Let me get to the end of the sentence. Okay, £1,020. Okay, Councillor Townsend, and a seconder, please. Councillor Massey. Okay, so can we please put that to the vote? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, so to wait until I get to the end of the sentence. Lord's Mead Preschool. Okay, we're putting a grant of £1,145 and a penny. Can I have a proposer, please? And I'll give Councillor Bragg for that one, and a seconder, Councillor Finlay, And could we please go to the vote, please? Unanimous. And St Andrew's Church, we're proposing a grant of £3,000. Councillor Wakeman. And can I have a seconder? I'm going to go for Councillor Owen. Okay, so can we please put that to the vote? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Wiltshire and Berkshire Canal Trust, we're proposing a grant of £405. A proposer, please. Councillor Finlay. A seconder, Councillor Bragg. And can we all put that to the vote, please? Thank you very much. Abstentions? Perfect. And finally, the Youth Adventure Trust. We're proposing a grant of £1,000. Could I have a proposer? Councillor Massey. And a seconder, Councillor Owen. And can we put that to the vote, please? Thank you. That's unanimously passed. Excellent. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming along today on what is the hottest day of the year so far. So thank you for your presentations and thank you for your applications and all the trouble that you've taken to fulfill all the questions that we've had for you today and before you arrived. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So coming to item 11, we're going to have feedback from former grant recipients. To receive a report from the Democratic and Governance Officer, Beth, regarding feedback from community organisations in receipt of grants awarded. And the copy is attached. And to consider if there are any actions that need to be taken as a result of the information received. Thank you.
So the purpose of this report is just for councillors to receive feedback from former grant recipients on the progress, outcomes or the project for which they requested grant funding. 6 previous recipients submitted feedback forms and these can be found at Appendix A of the report. Thank you.
So are there any comments or questions on this report? I mean, I had one myself. I noticed that not all of them sort of are advertising the fact that that Chippenham Town Council are actually have awarded them the grant, and actually, I think that's quite key. I think with any opportunity, if we're going to actually award a grant, that we ask them that they mention that we have. Councillor Wakeman, you wanted to say something?
I'd just say it's nice to see that we are getting the feedback from some of these projects and that they're coming to fruition and that the money that we're putting out there into the community is doing good. But yeah, as you say, I would agree. It would be nice if we were not accredited is the wrong word, but mentioned and just said, look, this is created from that community funding.
Mm-hmm. Councillor Cousins.
Thanks. Are there any projects or many projects that we've not actually received feedback upon?
Sorry, I'm just checking.
I'll just add to that while we wait. Obviously, some of the projects take a longer period of time. And I know Beth sends regular updates to say, have you got your feedback ready? Have you completed your project? And in the policy, we've got a kind of stipulation if it's going to go beyond 12 months, we need an explanation of why. And is it going to continue or the funds get returned? So we are on it with checking up.
Yeah, so we're on it, which is how it should be, obviously. But are there any people out there? Because I know going back a few years, there were a couple of people who were quite reluctant to give feedback. So I just wondered whether that might still be the case.
So I'm just looking at the municipal year 24-25, and out of Out of 28, we've received 24 rounds of feedback. So there are 4 applicants that have not sent their feedback yet, but they are regularly chased by me. And for the meeting from this time last year, so the 12 months, there are 2 applicants that haven't submitted full feedback, but they have given updates, just sort of informal email, but I have heard from them and everyone else has submitted feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, so it might be then for the 24-25 4 groups that haven't, if they applied again in the future, it would be important that we knew about that, would it? Yeah.
I think I just need to check the policy that they applied under, just to make sure that that wasn't a stipulation when they applied. But if that was in place, then that is absolutely fine. I can include that.
Just moving forward as well, as we go forward, we can look at maybe including that in the feedback report or in part of the agenda pack. You will see, they've received them in this many years, and have we had feedback, yes or no?
Any other further comments? Okay, so our councillors happy to note the report? Do we have to go for a vote? Okay, I'll just note that everybody's nodding a yes, so I'll say that everyone is happy. Okay, so let's go to the next items for communication. To consider any items for communication from this meeting to residents. Do we have any items for communication for residents? Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Chair. I was going to suggest that any of the projects which were community-wide that we supported, that we perhaps consider using our social media presence to give them a boost, to potentially extend the reach, if that's possible. I appreciate there may be some commercial elements to some of these as well.
Yes, I think I'd obviously defer to the head of communications and customer services. I wouldn't like to promise that, but we can note that and come back. I know we do obviously all the comms when the awards come out with the check photos with the mayor. So we do share their name and what they do and why they've got the award.
Councillor Grimes.
Not necessarily in terms of promotion of the charities themselves, but taking your point earlier, would we not want to communicate the fact that we have given funds to these various charities, just to make it clear that we are funding certain organisations?
So that's what I was just referring to. We do that every time. Yeah, we do that. So we cover that. Lots of photos, big check, giant checks.
And Councillor Cousins, did you want to say anything else? Councillor Bragg.
Yeah, just to agree with Councillor Owen. I think that the 2 that will stand out to me will be the film club, because there's a film festival, so that's wider communication, and also the Wilson Barton Canal Trust quiz would also warrant. So that's the 2 I would sort of pick up on those 2.
Okay, and consider any questions or actions from this meeting to refer to the Youth Council for their opinion and response. Councillor Findlay.
Early Earth Protectors and Youth Action Trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with that. Okay, so going to the last item, date of the next meeting. The next meeting of the Grants Subcommittee will take place on Thursday, the 22nd of October 2026 at 4 p.m. I now declare this meeting closed. Thank you very much.